Welcome back to Narrate Now. Today we're stepping into one of the darkest and most haunting tales from the Conjuring universe. A cursed mirror that brings death, despair, and possession wherever it goes, and a family that will face unimaginable terror because of it. So turn off the lights, sit back, and let's dive deep into this horrifying story. The movie begins in 1974, inside an antique shop owned by Victoria Granger. She trembles as she recounts her terrifying experiences to Ed and Lorraine Warren, who are expecting their first child. With fear in her eyes, she tells them that her father had felt an eerie, unnatural presence lurking around the shop, something Victoria herself dismissed as the imagination of an aging man. But one dreadful morning when she opened the store, she found her father's lifeless body hanging in the middle of the room. Devastated and frightened, she reached out to Ed and Lorraine for help. She's convinced that something in her shop is cursed, the source of all the evil that now follows her everywhere. The Warrens begin their investigation and soon discover an antique mirror, adorned with angel faces carved along its top. The moment Lorraine lays eyes on it, she senses a dark presence emanating from within. Still young and inexperienced, she makes the mistake of touching the mirror. Immediately, cracks spread across its surface, and her reflection twists into a demonic grin, mocking her. She's suddenly hit by horrifying visions. The shock sends her into labor, and she screams for Ed's help. It's clear that the demon has marked her unborn baby. Ed rushes her to the hospital. As doctors try to deliver the baby, Lorraine sees a demon crawling on the hospital wall watching her. Panicked, she begs Ed not to let it harm their child. After a difficult delivery, tragedy strikes. The baby is stillborn. Lorraine breaks down, holding the lifeless child in her arms and crying out to God for a miracle. Then suddenly, the baby cries. The room fills with light, and it feels as though her prayers have been answered. The child, named Judy, becomes the center of their world. Years pass, and we see Judy growing up in a loving home. But one day, she confides in her mother that she sees strange things, spirits that won't leave her alone. Lorraine realizes that Judy has inherited the gift of clairvoyance. She teaches her a calming song, one she can use whenever she feels afraid, to help her silence the visions. The story then jumps to 1986, introducing the Smurl family, a cheerful household of 8. They're celebrating Heather Smurl's confirmation, and her grandparents gift her a beautiful antique mirror, the same one that haunted the Warrens years ago. Their dog immediately starts barking at it, sensing danger, but the family brushes it off and continues celebrating. During dinner, a strange event occurs. The candle in Heather's cake blows out by itself. Moments later, a light fixture falls from the ceiling, injuring her. Though her mother Janet tends to her, the incident marks the beginning of a terrifying chain of events. Meanwhile, Ed and Lorraine are shown enjoying dinner with Judy, now grown up. We learn that Ed's heart condition has forced them to stop taking new cases. During the meal, Lorraine suddenly feels an eerie presence. She hears Judy humming the childhood song and then senses demonic hands resting on her shoulder. Though startled, she tries to stay calm so as not to alarm her family. Back at the Smurl's house, Janet begins sensing something sinister in the basement. While on a phone call, her phone cord suddenly tightens around her neck, as if someone is trying to choke her. Shocked but terrified of worrying her family, she keeps the incident a secret. That night, Heather and her sister Dawn decide to throw the creepy mirror out. The next morning, garbage workers crush it in their truck, but right then, Dawn vomits blood mixed with glass shards. The family panics, realizing the evil may not have been destroyed. Elsewhere, Ed's doctor warns him that his heart is weak and he must avoid all paranormal activity. Later, during Ed's birthday celebration, Judy introduces her boyfriend Tony, an ex-cop. Lorraine is pleased, but Ed remains cautious. That night, Judy encounters Annabelle's doll rocking in her chair. She sings her childhood song to protect herself, and the spirit vanishes. Tony walks in, curious about the song, and the two share a tender moment, until Lorraine walks in on them. Later, Lorraine privately warns Judy not to rely on her visions, as they can weaken her mentally. Meanwhile, Tony confides in Ed that he wants to propose to Judy. Ed is hesitant, but eventually gives his blessing. Soon after, Father Gordon approaches the Warrens about a new case in Pennsylvania, but Ed declines. At the same time, the Smurl's haunting escalates. Jack, the father, is attacked in his bed, levitating as a demonic force. Heather reviews old home videos and realizes that it wasn't her sister, but the demon that blew out the candle at her confirmation. Suddenly, a tall man with an axe appears behind her and attacks. Terrified, the Smurls go public with their haunting story, pleading for help. While Judy and Lorraine are shopping for Judy's engagement dress, Judy is attacked in the changing room by a demonic woman hiding under her gown. Lorraine saves her just in time. The next day, Father Gordon blesses the Smurl home, but the holy water evaporates unnaturally. Realizing he's dealing with a power far beyond him, he rushes to the church for help. But the receptionist disappears, and the phone starts ringing, with a demon mimicking Judy's voice, warning him to leave. The cross on the door turns upside down. Father Gordon is possessed and tragically hanged using a vacuum cord. At his funeral, the Warrens meet Father Ziegler, who reveals that Gordon's last case was indeed the Smurls. Lorraine soon has a vision. Blood fills the sink, and she finds a necklace with Judy's photo. She realizes Judy is in grave danger. Tony bursts in, revealing Judy has gone to help the Smurls herself. Ed and Lorraine rush to Pennsylvania. Despite her parents' fears, Judy insists on helping the family, claiming something wanted her to come. During the investigation, Lorraine senses that before the Smurls, another family lived there. A man who murdered his wife and mother-in-law with an axe after discovering her affair. Those restless spirits now fuel the demon's power. While exploring the attic, Judy finds the same mirror again, and the words "Miss Me" scrawled on the wall. The mirror rocks violently as Annabelle's figure appears, transforming into a tall, monstrous form. Judy flees but falls down the stairs. Lorraine and Ed rush to help and realize this is the same cursed mirror that nearly destroyed them 20 years ago. They explain everything to the Smurls and promise to end it this time. That night, Judy falls ill. Ed and Tony attempt to move the mirror to the Warrens' artifact room, but the straps loosen by themselves. The mirror crashes, injuring Jack. Outside, Tony's car crashes after seeing the demon on the road. Inside, Judy becomes possessed. Speaking in a demonic voice, she attacks her mother and father, throwing their dog across the room. When Ed tries to reach her, she strikes him in the chest, triggering a heart attack. Lorraine is trapped in the basement with the ghostly murderer, reliving his crimes. Tony breaks in and rescues her. Upstairs, Judy's body levitates, the demon fully in control. As Ed struggles to breathe, Lorraine and Tony confront the demon in the attic. Judy is found hanging from the ceiling. Ed and Tony manage to cut her down, but she's not breathing. Ed performs CPR, but the demon chokes him through the mirror. Ed grabs the Holy Bible and begins reciting prayers. Judy awakens and starts singing her childhood song, the one Lorraine taught her, but the mirror levitates violently, preparing to strike. Lorraine urges her daughter to stop the song and use her gift. For the first time, Judy faces the demon head-on, joining her parents in prayer. Together, they channel all their strength and finally banish the demon back into the mirror, which shatters and falls motionless. The nightmare is finally over. The next morning, the Warrens bid farewell to the Smurls. Back home, Ed hands Tony the key to the artifact room, a sign of trust and acceptance. The film ends with Judy and Tony's wedding, surrounded by loved ones. Lorraine has a final vision of a peaceful future, their family growing old together, their story told in books that will live on forever. And that brings us to the end of this terrifying journey. The cursed mirror is gone, but as we know, evil never really rests. What did you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Narrate Now for more horror movie breakdowns every week. And remember, some reflections should never be seen. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep the lights on.